And it's funny too.
Are also people negative about the way you use music for bringing across things like this, or is everybody?
Most people respect it because there's so much fluff out there in music and pop music and everything like that, where people write songs that just they don't mean anything. It's like junk food for the mind.
Yeah.
So I think when people now, especially now, because we've been around for so long and we're not new, and people know where we're from, and we have established kind of what we're about. People listen to the words, and they'll either take it for what it is, and enjoy it, or maybe reflect on it, or they'll just say, "Oh, they're singing another song about, war or something like that." But I think most people give us our respect.
Yeah, and I don't think we've ever really offended anybody. It's more of like if you take yourself too seriously, then you'll be offended by songs and things like that. But
yeah,
I guess the point of that song is like, it's
just open your eyes.
It's open. Yeah, it's like all the stuff that is going around you has been planned, and people are buying into it still.
Another song that really stood out when I first listened to the record was "Man Alive."
Mm-hmm.
What can you say about that?
It's the weirdest song on the record.
Yeah, it is.
Why is it the weirdest song?
It's just a weird song, like just the way it's laid out and all the changes and everything like that, and it's kind of just quirky.
We like to try different things out when we're working as a band, and it's that song had a really unique kind of rhythm thing happening. So musically, it's really weird.
Yeah.
It's our engineer called it boogie punk, and it kind of is. It's got like a little rockabilly element. It's got a little bit of punk element, and that song was kind of written about just being a young person and how young people are so easily impressionable, and what a lot of companies and people do in society is basically like push things like, you got to work at the factory, boy. You gotta get a car and a mortgage and a job, and it's like all these ideals that is based on social conditioning, and it's I think that song was kind of more written about you need to rebel against that and don't buy into that either. It's like it's because you're gonna be stuck in a life that you never planned for and you didn't want. And we have a couple friends like that, and they've been at their jobs for 20 years now, and they started when they're teenagers, and they just complain about it all the time, and it's like, don't let 20 years go by and then realize that you should have been meant to do something else in life.
And you didn't try.
You haven't been complaining the last 20 years?
Not at all.
No way.
At a certain point, I guess, like 10 years into us being a band, we were all still working day jobs, and we all worked in different fields, and when the band took off, we really just put all our focus and energy into the band, and we're really lucky to do this for a living.
Yeah, like we caught the last train for sure, because we were 27 years old or something like that when our band got signed. So it was one of those things where, you get into the point where, man, I am gonna have to pay rent for the rest of my life, and my girlfriend loves me and she probably wants to marry me and that kind of stuff. And those are the things that can trap you into doing something that you don't want to do. Mm-hmm. We were close to having that happen, but we would have always been musicians, I think, until we died, no matter what. Even if it wasn't this, it would have been something. Even if it was playing in bars on the weekend and being a mechanic during the week or whatever, it would have always been something.
But not being in the Netherlands.
Sorry?
Not being in the Netherlands.
No, not maybe here on vacation smoking weed or something.
Yeah.
Stardust Billiards in Mississauga, Bar and Grill, on the weekends. Dire Straits cover night.
Yeah.
What does the timeline of That Silence look like? When did you write the stuff? When did you record the stuff, etc.?
Well, we got off the road 2 years ago at the end of August, and we just took a couple of months off, and then we started jamming. And Ian started getting really heavy into writing.
Yeah, I'd already written a couple tracks, like on our last tour, like Viking Death March and Stand Up and Run, the main ideas for them. And then when we got back, we had it took about a month off, and then started working on those songs. And so they were kind of like the first two written, and then slowly just kept writing, and that was probably like an 8 or 9 month process. And then we started demoing stuff, and went into the studio in late November of last year, and we finished up the record just a couple months ago. So it was a long record process. I produced it myself, so It was we had the amount of time to do whatever we wanted, and we wanted to really like knock it out of the park and make it sound great. And in January, after Aaron had finished tracking, he told us that he would have to have open heart surgery. So around that time, like we definitely, it was a lot of stress going on, and we were really worried about him first and foremost over the record. So he, it felt like a long process on this record, and a lot of things happened.